we are responsible for the safety and welfare, I think it might be advantageous to meet with the highway superintendent. Would you speak to the highway superintendent and find out what he thinks of that road, the safety of it?
And we should certainly make a suggestion to, lower the speed limit. I mean, all the people that live on the road are concerned about it. It's an obvious problem.
Right, but it's not all the road.
I also think we ought to make a recommendation to get some sort of sound meter. Because even though we say it's going to be under, if it's not, I mean, there's other complaints in the town about that. So we really should make an effort to do that.
That's an absolute.
Yeah.
I mean,
And we did have one at one time.
We have a law, we should be able to enforce it.
They're not expensive. I mean, it's not
When they put the soccer fields over there by the Edison, they had a sound meter because people on the other side were saying it was too loud with the kids and this and that, and they had one then. So I don't know what happened to it.
Do you want me to write a letter to the members of the town board? Yes, please. Requesting a review of the speed limit on Andrew Lane and purchase of a decibel reader.
Right.
Okay, and then I'll forward everybody a copy via email.
Whose responsibility would that be to make the decision? That be the building inspector?
Building and zoning, yes.
Well, I think maybe if we have it coming from,
Could you
we have it coming from the building department and the planning board, it'll be heavier, so.
Do you think that
To measure it, I don't know if that would be the police or.
purchase a decibel meter?
I mean, who goes to have?
recommend to the town board that you'd like to purchase a decibel meter for the police department?
Yeah, the police would have.
Yes.
Yes, police department.
Because when you go out 1, 2 in the morning, it's going to be, the police do the noise complaints anyway.
Okay. It's not going to be me.
Rude. Sure that.
So we'll do the letter for the speed limit and the decibel reader from the planning board, and then Tut can put in something for the decibel reader from the building department as well, so that it's got more weight, and then I'll forward you guys the letter.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll forward it to you first, and then tomorrow morning, and then everybody take a look at it when you have a chance. Let me know if you're good with it. If you want to change anything, if you're good, we'll forward it all.
All right.
Any further discussion?
What was the proposed new speed limit? 20 miles per hour?
15.
15?
Or 10.
10?
Even 10 is good.
No.
It's 30 right now.
No.
You can't go 10 anymore.
Yeah, I think they want to be able to get home too.
You said is it 25 or 30 now?
30,
It's 30.
So we make it 20.
20?
Like I said, I'm almost
They can do it in the school zone, 15 miles an hour.
Well, how about a review and to lower it, and we'll see what the town comes up with.
And additional safety signages may be appropriate.
Review of the safety of the town road there.
Have all the concerns of the county been addressed? They've been addressed, huh?
Yes.
What about the fire department?
They were involved, I think. Didn't they have a meeting? They did. The fire department had a meeting.
Fire department had a meeting for resort project, not for this.
You spoke to the fire department?
I have not spoken with the fire department. We had discussed the width needed for the road on my property, and it is wide enough.
And the ability for fire trucks to access the pond easily for firefighting purposes.
That they can pass each
They
other.
can easily pass and turn around on the property. They can access all sides of the building.
Well, Mr. Miranda, what about you on that road? Can the fire trucks get to your house?
I've never had fire.
Okay,
I've never seen a fire truck on
But
the road.
I'm saying, they gotta be able to get there. And then on these,
The engines are bigger than that road.
right, yes, I know. I know they're very
I don't
wide.
think they have a reason to go up there. I've never seen one.
Oh,
But at the curve there, and there's no way two fire trucks can pass each other. Going one, well, I can guarantee you that. I've seen
garbage trucks back up, they can't, not car, people have to go onto the shoulder of the road, wait for another person to come through, so they'll wait for 2 fire trucks. And then there's that, if you go there, you'll see that there's a guard there, you know, guardrail that you can't do anything about. So, but
As a good neighbor, if there was a fire up there and your neighbors had a fire, would they be able to use the pond?
Of course. Absolutely.
Well, it's good to know.
Well, I know up on that property, their road is wide enough for cars to pass, even if it runs over their grass.
yeah, well, I really don't, I'm not concerned with what happens up there. I know that the plows turn around up there, garbage trucks turn around up there, yes, there's plenty of room up there, but not, especially one near Molly's house, or near Rich's house. There's not enough room for two big vehicles.
How long is the stretch you're concerned with, Mr. Miranda?
It is, I think the whole road is probably a half a mile from his place down to Mount Pleasant Road. I'd say about a good, almost half. Once you get down to my area, down to my house, there's very little crowd there. Cars pass like this. But when you get down closer to Mount Pleasant Road, it's a disaster, it really is. I do about 20 miles an hour now. Once you get towards my house, I can see people doing 25, 30. But down there, I stop. I come to a complete stop because I can't see. There's bushes. I can't see anyone making a turn. They can't see me. And if they don't know well enough, they're just going to keep on coming. So I look, and I've had it before. A bicycle almost ran into me. You know, so it's just going to be the more traffic is going to cause more problems. Period.
So you're saying on the corner there that there is foliage that blocks the view going around the corner?
From Mount Pleasant Road on Andrew Lane.
Take that right there. I'm familiar with the property. I've been there. So
yeah.
So
from
that's
Mount Pleasant Road on Andrew Lane. You have to, once again, you can't see any traffic.
So it's on the inward side. In other words, it's on an Emerson property.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
There's
something like that, when we file a complaint, my office, which is zoning, and then we enforce that because it is encroaching upon visibility of the road.
Absolutely.
So I don't have a problem looking into that. That should help with these parts of the concern.
Does anyone have a motion? Motion by John that we approve the permit, the application.
I'll second.
Any discussions? Any further?
Hang on a second.
There being no more discussions, we'll take a vote.
Okay, so it's a motion to approve special permit for Foxfire Mountain House and Tim Trojan by John Horn, second by Joanne Kell. John Brewer,
Yes.
Bert Christie, John Horn,
Yes.
Joanne Kell,
Yes.
Alan Shiner,
Yes.
Cliff Rebuffo.
Yes.
Okay, that's that.
Thank you very much.
We'll need to,
I'll prepare a resolution and notice of action tomorrow, and then I just need to have you come in and sign off on it.
that'll be, need to be filed in the county clerk's office.
Okay.
And then once you get their stamp on there, please give our building department a copy of that.
Is that a final map? Is this a final map?
Yes, it is. The last one I gave you is the final.
Come on.
Yep, that's the final. It's one of my office.
Okay.
Thank you guys very much.
Okay,
If you have any issues, feel free to come and speak with me. I understand, and I want to.
My wife's supposed to be in here 20 years ago. He promises also. I just changes. You know, like I said, I figured I could fly. Of course, that's very much. I don't want to
okay.
It's always, this was.
We gotta continue our meeting here, so if
Oh, I
you
apologize.
can speak out there.
All right.
Chris Eckert, 10 Furnace Road. Oh, yeah. Has anybody had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Not yet.
Any comments concerning the minutes?
The last sentence is a typo.
What? Yes.
Oh. Ha ha, very funny.
Public hearings.
What?
Yeah.
Is he serious? Are you serious or are you joking?
No, he is.
Where is it?
At the bottom of other business. The
Well,
last
it's not
sentence.
the last sentence. It's the last sentence on page.
Oh, yeah, I hit the F. I know, right. Oh, you found one typo in 4 pages. I'm proud of myself.
Still looking.
He's still looking. Hold on.
That's because my keyboard is here and my screen is here, so I'm.
That's no excuse.
Well, I think the F is next to the J, if that counts for anything.
Go make motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written with the correction.
From the F to the G.
Yeah.
That's right.
I second
Just all in favor?
Who seconded that?
that. I did.
The new business is the elevation certificate that was mentioned at the workshop meeting. Didn't have all the copies for everybody. Now everybody has a copy of it. We can't do anything today as far as that I can see, as far as approving this, because we need time to take a look at the flood maps and the flood FEMA studies to determine exactly what's going on here. He wants, well, Warren, oh, he's here. Okay. Why don't you come forward and explain to us what you'd like to do? This is Chris Eckert.
I'm his builder, Dan Curtis.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
and he's repairing, really an unsafe deck that's there, and wants to bring it in, make it safe, and he's also enlarging it slightly. But because he is in the current floodplain that was, amended, that the town is trying to amend that floodplain. I'm sure you're aware, and if the amended floodplain was accepted, he would then be out of the floodplain. His property is right on the edge, so it's not. you know, it's just funny the way it happened that this after, you know, Sandy and Irene, that FEMA kind of did this blanket floodplain that it's not in regard to the topology of the site. So his deck that we're talking about building is very elevated in relation to the actual flooding that happened with Sandy and Irene. He has a pond that's quite a bit lower than the house. The house sits up quite a bit higher, and then there's a slope down to the pond, and right now, currently, there's a deck that extends out over that slope to about halfway to the edge of the pond. And it's, you know, it is in need of repair, so it needs to be, and it needs to be built properly so that it can, you know, support, you know, the necessary loads to have people on it. So, you know, that's what his main concern is. He wants to make it safe. So that's really what the permit is. And it's also, part of it is also backfilling that one wall that slopes, that the house where it slopes down towards the pond is exposed. 4 feet of the block is exposed. And there's a door to get into a 5-foot crawl space under the house. And when he got that elevation certificate done, the surveyor that indicated to him that if that was backfilled, if the house was back, that one wall was backfilled, which is possible, it would take him out of the current floodplain. So what we're proposing to do is, in conjunction with building the new safe deck, once the old one's out, it'll be very easy to get fill in there and backfill against the only exposed wall of the foundation, and then that thereby would take him out of the FEMA floodplain, which is something he would also, you know, would be a benefit for him. And that one opening that goes into the basement, he has access into the basement from in the house, so that one exterior opening would be, you know, blocked up and sealed off and then backfilled against, and in conjunction with building the deck. So like I say, when you get the deck out of the way, it makes it very easy to bring the fill in and do all the work. So it's just a, you know, efficient way of doing things. So that's basically the scope of the project.
I'm not sure that's correct about the backfill taking it out of the floodplain.
Well, this is coming from the person that did the elevation study that you have a copy of there. And this is his personal opinion, professional opinion rather, that he shared with my client at the time of doing the survey. And I've spoken with him. His name's Dan McCarthy, and I've spoken with him on the phone a couple of times, and he does indicate to me that that is indeed the case in this situation. Some situations you actually have to like fill the basement in, but in Chris's situation, because of the elevation of the house is above the floodplain, you know, and it's this wall is, because it's not filled, then is exposed and it's below the floodplain. But if it's filled to like about 2 inches down from the top of the...
on the outside?
On the outside, yeah. If it's filled 2 inches down from the top of the block, that's where the actual line of the floodplain is, and then that thereby takes him out of the floodplain because the house is no longer in it.
I don't believe that's correct, but we'll look into it.
Okay, yeah, this is the professional opinion of the surveyor that did the elevation study, so.
Is Chris Eckert the property owner?
He is.
I see the elevation certificate has a different name on it.
Yes.
And
Was that the Bonnet?
I think it's yeah, the Bonnet. Yeah.
Yeah, that was done in conjunction with his closing, so.
October of 2013.
Yeah.
So you feel the deck is not safe now?
Right,
Current
the
deck?
deck is not safe. I previewed the property, it was,
And
you know,
if you had an estimate, what's the difference in size?
Well, because he's going, it's, the front part is about a foot or 2 feet bigger, you know, like going a little closer to the pond, and then he's just going, I guess it would be the south side of the house is going towards the esopus, about 12 feet, and that's a mostly flat, same grade as the house. So it sort of makes the deck wrap around. It makes it a little more usable. You'd be able to access it from multiple doors on the house. Just nicer to use for summer activities and stuff.
So these figures that I have here from Tom Conrad, areas,
Yeah.
this was taken from the 85 map, and it's 921.6 is the flood elevation. So this is from the old map. Now you're saying the new map takes him out of the floodplain?
The new one that, as I understand it, and I've looked at the maps on the Ulster County site, the new one that's being proposed to be adopted, which I know there's been another hiccup in that, so it'll take a little longer. But that one, the contour of the pond, the new floodplain follows the contour of his pond. So that means the house is completely out. Completely out, yes.
Okay, so we're going by the old numbers here.
Right, but I guess because the new hasn't been adopted yet, so that's the reason.
So what we'll have to look at is the base flood elevation in the old map, the base flood elevation in the preliminary map. Maybe take a look at some of the studies that they've recently done the past few years, and compare that to the basement floor elevation. It's 917.7.
That's the inside of the basement versus the livable floor.
But FEMA goes by the basement floor, not the livable floor.
Yeah, I'm going by what the person that did the survey said. So
is that regardless of access to the basement?
Yeah. So enclosed, even an enclosed crawl space, that elevation is what they're going to look at.
Is that new? That's in the new maps? Because the old maps used to be floor level, livable floor level.
Right.
On the old map.
According to the regulations.
That was my understanding, that it includes the basement. That's why filling it in helps, because it takes the basement out of the equation.
Is there equipment down in the basement now?
there's a water pressure tank and his hot water heater. Both could potentially be relocated. That's it.
Can I ask a question just for clarification? Are there two permits being considered here, one for him to build and one for the floodplain? No, just one.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Is this new deck 10% larger than the old deck?
Yeah, it is.
It's more than 10% larger?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't have numbers in my head. It's fine. The new deck is about 550 square feet. The old one is 20 by 5. So 100 and then 30 by 8, 20 is 125 feet. Yeah. 20, yeah, it's
So
3 times the size, basically. 4 times the size.
The deck has to meet the specifications, but if it looks like it's not going to be in the floodplain, then it's not so much of a problem. If it is, there's specifications as far as how he has to have it anchored. It can't be connected to the house, correct?
It can be connected to the house, but it has to be flood-proof. So it has to be. That's the biggest problem you have now. There's one group of thought is that do not connect it to the house. So if you don't connect it to the house, you still have to make sure it can't float away. So if you connect it to the house, you now take care of half the deck won't float away. So now take care of the other half, make sure that's anchored so that can't float away. So if you read the floodplain, the manual, it says that any object in the floodplain, with the exception of accessory buildings, needs to be floodproof, so that it can't, be deteriorated or it can't leave the property. And it must be made from flood-proof materials. In other words, preservative or something like that.
Because the last time I talked to FEMA, it was, because I didn't understand that it should not be connected to the house. It didn't make any sense to me. But their thinking on that is they don't want the deck pulling the house off the foundation during a flood. But here in Shandaken, we're looking at a deck being a possible flotation device blocking a bridge.
Block a bridge and flood a town.
So,
is the deck lower than the floodplain?
No, it's higher than the floodplain. The deck itself. Obviously, the support for the deck, the concrete piers, they have to go into the ground, so.
Well, it's supposed to be 2 feet above the base flood elevation. Freeboard is 2 feet above base elevation as listed in the firm map. Now, if I'm reading that correct, so I do not have a copy in front of me, base elevation for the first floor was 721.
It's something.
921 is for the floor, for the first, not for the first. If we don't take count basement, just take count the first floor, because the deck will be at the first floor level. So that's our basis for the deck. So their first floor is 922.9. 922.9. What's the base elevation from the flood line?
921.6.
So if you take 921.6 plus 2 is 923. The deck is technically in the old floodplain. Now the new floodplain, which is 100 feet away, when it's finally 2013, when that permit is adopted, it pushes it.
Let's take a closer look at the
elevations
and see what's involved with this. We might not have to jump through so many hoops.
Right, again, the main issue is the safety, we want to remedy it in a timely manner so that it's safe.
So, there's nothing that we can rule on tonight on this. We need to take a closer look at it. And,
But that's my question again, is that gonna hold them up? If they have a plan for doing this, remove the deck, do the backfill, put the new deck in, they can do that, and then it's just changing it on a piece of paper whether he has new insurance rate or not. I didn't hear anything that you said
That part
that
of
should
it
hold
doesn't
up this
have anything
construction.
to do with the planning board, that's building department business, it wasn't to do with the planning board.
Right, but I just, for the applicant's benefit, I just wanted to clarify that I think that they can go ahead with their plan, and then you guys can take the time you need to review the paperwork, and it's just a month's difference in terms of the flood rate. That's what I was hoping was the
I
case.
don't know how you go out of his plan if we're not sure what his plan is going to be, because it determines that base flood elevation.
According to the town code, I can't issue a building permit. If there's a flood permit, flood development application in, that has to be approved, so that I know what the situation is, as far as what floodplain it's in, and all the elevation certificate. That's why we have it on. So that when he brings me the plan to build this deck, I have to make sure that it has the proper anchoring and the elevations that it needs to be in that. So that's why they review it.
I see, but what I understood the applicant to say, maybe I misunderstood, was that he's building to the higher level of specification. If that's the case, then he could go ahead and do it. If he's trying to take advantage of a new determination, then I misunderstood.
You can't meet the higher.
I see.
Let me, I would,
As it stands.
make a motion, take a motion should be made, that we, table this, let's try to find some more information. We might find information between now and the next meeting that says he doesn't even have to bring this before us. If the new studies and,
Let's see what we can find out and just deal with that at the workshop, and then we might be out of the water, literally out of the water.
So you're making a motion
we
to-
might not prolong you in a whole another month if it looks like you don't even have to come before us with a flood elevation.
When would the next workshop be?
It's
The first Wednesday in August.
So August.
Yeah, first August.
Does he need a
August
permit for
5th.
demolition?
It'll be August 5th, yeah.
that's the building.
The only thing I could do now would be to